Testing. 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 Are we live? Are we live? How's the audio? How's the video? Rick Miracle here with another live streaming event. Testing. See you, hear you good. Christopher, thank you. Guess it's time to get started. And what I just did a moment ago is something I like to do when I talk about UFOs and aliens, is look at the recent MUFON report. What happened today and yesterday? Bright light moving at an impossible speed. Oval with slight disk ridge. We had a bonfire at our home in Rockford, Michigan. We noticed about 8 of them. Silver objects slowly spinning with bright white light, Ipswich, Great Britain. The objects seem to be hovering and follow 65 degrees. Triangle shaped. 3 white light on corners and red light in the middle. You see, if you pay attention to this and you do it long enough, you start to recognize patterns of the different types of craft. And you have all these books, these 2 shelves behind me. There's over 100 books. Those are just UFO and alien books that I have not made book reviews on. And my other shelf over here with 200 and plus books that I have made book reviews on. Numerous of those books were UFO and alien books. Notwithstanding all the magazines I have and all the resources on the internet, press releases, website research. Just a plethora. And then the pictures I have. So anyways, a total of 5 objects in Babylon, New York, forming straight lines, circles, both increasing and decreasing in brightness. What the heck is going on? Is this stuff real? This guy says, I thought it was a helicopter. Then it did a large circle very quickly. Glendale, Arizona. A star-like object. Long train-like object, silver and bright. Florida. Observed a group of lights while traveling east on Highway 50. I remember when I took the pictures of the lights over my condo in Orlando. You can clearly see them. Those are my pictures. They were moving really slow, and I took the photos over to the pharmacy and tried to blow them up. I was just walking out of my condo one night and looked up and said, what the heck? And these objects were flying very slowly overhead, following each other, so it seemed. So you go to the pharmacy and use their machine, and you can usually blow up the pictures pretty good. So what did I see? Take pictures of, and 3 of them, I think about 6 or 7 total. I tried different ways to blow up the pictures and get a handle on what these things were. What's the date on the back of these pictures? Got my name, And Rite Aid was the store. $4.12. I'm not quite sure of the date. Anyways, I took these pictures in the city of Orlando at night. Just interesting where this stuff comes from, the coincidences in life. I have some other interesting pictures here. It's Saturday, so I thought I'd just have a kind of a laid-back show, live streaming event. I have a few documents to look at, things to talk about. But let's look at some pictures. That ought to be interesting. So what I do over the years, I've been doing my research since 2005, and I've got 4 shoeboxes full of pictures. These are the ones on UFOs and aliens, and I have titles on them. You can see it's kind of just a homemade hodgepodge of tags and stuff. Aliens, gray, Syrians. So you got the idea. So I got them all cataloged here over the years, reading UFO alien books and doing my research. So let's just spend a few minutes and look at some pictures. See if it makes any sense. And there's all kinds of weird pictures here. This looks like one of those lines at Machu Picchu, however you say it, in the mountains of Peru. And the planes, so you can only see these if you're in a plane high up in the air. You can see these pictures. And of course, over there in Egypt, in the hieroglyphics and other ancient monuments around the world, you have these ancient men, beings, whatever, on these orbs with wings. I guess that's how primitive people would have considered it. Flying means wings. The circle with the guy in it might mean the craft. So over the years, with my accumulated knowledge, this is where it all comes from. I don't make stuff up. Some of these creatures look kind of weird. These with bird's head, and apparently he's got a pine cone in his hand, which represents the pineal gland. But what's interesting is the fact that he has a non-human face. And he seems to be standing next to the Kabbalah tree of life on his left. And you can go on Yahoo image site and find these pictures and the links. The return of the Anunnaki aliens? What are we to believe? This is at, you can see the website there. So you talk about fallen angels, the Anunnaki aliens, the Nephilim, the Elohim. The book I looked at yesterday, some kind of beings from a far distant planet coming here with their laboratories and creating humans. What are we to believe? And I'm just randomly looking at these pictures. I haven't seen them in months, maybe a year. I go in my shoeboxes, and this is an elongated skull. They go in my shoebox and are all categorized. And there's all kinds of hieroglyphics. Here's one with the wings and the maybe a craft, but certainly looks like the tree of life or something like that. The guys with the little pails and the pine cones. And again, my philosophy is if you just relax and just do the research, read the books, look at the pictures. Don't try to really figure it out, because I believe it'll sort itself out. Just give yourself some time. Here's one with a human head and another guy with a bird head, obviously, and he's holding that pine cone thing, which is supposed to represent higher consciousness with the pineal gland, which, by the way, of course, we all know they put fluoride in the water since the early 1900s intentionally. It's aluminum waste byproduct, by the way. Very corrosive. They had trouble getting rid of fluoride. And they came up with the idea to put it in the water and in toothpaste. It's very corrosive. And it calcifies in the pineal gland and apparently inhibits our consciousness, higher communication and ability, telepathy, etc. FYI. And of course, with the chemtrailing these days, they're spraying fluoride, aluminum, barium, strontium, according to a couple videos. My favorites are, what in the world are they spraying? And why in the world are they spraying? Or go to geoengineeringwatch.org with Dane Wigginton and so many other websites, besides all the hundreds of photos and videos that I have published of documenting the chemtrailing since 2005 when I found out about it, which motivated me to begin this research. It was the chemtrail issue. I mean, you couldn't deny it. You could look up and take pictures, and I was in Melbourne, Florida by the beach, and they were really painting the sky horribly bad. So we saw those pictures with the hieroglyphics with the bird's head. Here we have what appears to be Isis, the bird-headed man with a rounding on his head. And the other hieroglyphics. And I guess basically Kabbalah, the religious cultish activity, like sorcery they were accused of, that the Jews practice, seems to have originated in the Egyptian area with all these hieroglyphics, with all the pyramids and the Sphinx. So you can connect some of the dots. And the other monuments in Lebanon, the Baalbek, those gigantic stones, the size of small buildings or school buses that were quarried from miles away. We couldn't do it today. And apparently some kind of, they say, maybe a landing pad, launch pad in Lebanon, and many other monuments. And again, I'm just randomly looking at some pictures, not in any particular order, just discussing what comes to my mind. And this one has always fascinated me. And it says, fascinating magnetic stone artifacts discovered in the jungles of Ecuador, and has a mysterious glowing eye. Is this familiar to you? And apparently the star cluster you see under those symbols, that's on the bottom of this stone. And that's the Pleiades. And apparently there's 13 rows of stones. That's interesting. And the all-seeing eye. And this is eerily similar to the pyramid and all-seeing eye on the back of the dollar bill. Yes? No? And under a fluorescent light, this thing glows. And that was in Eric Van Doniken's books. I made videos on his book, The Gold of the Gods. Beings descended from the sky in flying vessels. So I'm not trying to advocate that this is the truth. I'm saying it's what's being propagated out there. Propaganda information. All kinds of evidence, even caves cut out of the stone, apparently with very high-tech equipment back then. Then they talk about planet Nibiru coming into our solar system. Just pictures I I had made at the pharmacy. Connecting to the morphogenic field. There's all kinds of talk about this spiritual reality. And again, talking about the pineal gland, higher consciousness. Even in the church, there's some weird symbols like these labyrinths. The cathedral's floor inlaid with a labyrinth. And apparently when you do make a labyrinth like that, and you walk it, this is also in the dowsing books I've gone over, you can enter higher consciousness. Something to do with geometry. More pictures and I'm done with this stack. Sirius system, the Sirius star system, is known as Dagon, or the dog star. He looks like a dog, and he's holding an ankh. An ankh is a T, which means divine, and the circle means serpent, a divine serpent. You can't make this stuff up. Here's a particular engraving on a building. What do you think that looks like? In my city where I live, in the downtown buildings, we have all kinds of engravings from the 1890, 1900, 1902, 1910. With these symbols were very popular back then. I've got a whole photo shoot of that. Here's a couple guys, I guess, showing off this little skeleton with the elongated head. Apparently, this thing was only the length of an ink pen, almost the size of your hand. Anyways, more elongated skulls. Ancient alien mummy discovered in Egypt. What are we to believe, really? But again, if you want to raise your consciousness, what was his mission in ancient Egypt? Why did he meet? Why did he want to stay there forever? He looks like he has elongated fingers, according to this picture. And again, you can go look up aliens or ancient mummies in Egypt, all kinds of things on the Yahoo image site, and get a plethora of sites to look at. That category was under Dagon. No, Dagon's next. That was under Aliens Anunnaki. Got to remember my categories here. Here's Dagon's. And the Dagons apparently are from the Sirius B, a small, dense star next to the Sirius star. You can't see it, but I guess astronomers have discovered it since then. But apparently it's a dense planet with water all over it, no land. And the beings are aquatic beings. And apparently they came here in a spaceship full of water. And apparently learned how to come out of the water. So you can see the being there, the Dagon, has watered feet, fins, and this guy worshiping the Dagon with the pineal gland and the bucket is wearing a fish skin suit which basically, if you see the hat, it's got the shape like a fish face. And if you look at some of the priests today at the Catholic Church, they wear the Dagon hat. So this ancient religious cult. There's the pyramids. He's got the trident in his hand. Looks like a picture of a bird with an eye over his head. Some kind of creature there by his foot. So like I said, if you just take your time and look at the pictures, you can maybe illuminate your brain, raise your consciousness. Apparently, when the Jews were escaping from Egypt, and they got to Mount Sinai, and Moses went up to the mountain to meet with this being, this glowing light, whatever. That last book I looked at was a spaceship was supposedly would have landed. And Wes says, good morning. Welcome. Got 5 people watching, 2 people making comments. Thank you. But anyways, when Moses came down the mountain, the story in the Old Testament, the being told him to make a tented area called a tabernacle, so that when the being came down, it could go in the tabernacle so nobody could see it. In the daytime, they would fold up the tent and march on towards the land of Canaan. Now it was the Palestinians' land, now called Egypt, and something that seems to have something to do with the New World Order and globalism talk these days, and action, like President Donald Trump recognizing Jerusalem as the capital of Israel. That's no small thing. Nobody consulted we the people. Nobody consulted all the clergy. What's going on? But anyways, they built these tabernacles, these tented areas, and later on, they built a permanent one to house the Ark of the Covenant, which was the box the being said to build with the 2 cherubim on top. So they built King Solomon's temple as a permanent resident for the Ark of the Covenant that apparently housed this being. So they got all these pictures. Sorry about the glare. Trying to get it. And you continue to see the reptile dragon theme. Here you see a Dagon with a wings and a lion's body, maybe. Are they fighting one another? The bird's feet on that creature with the wings, and the Dagon with the trident, and the wings on him. Like I said, you know, trying to figure it out is one thing. Just looking at it, absorbing it, putting it in context with everything else I've been talking about, with other research that you do, you can come up with some clues. Like this picture here. You got the moon, the man, and the tree. He's got the tree in his hand. The wings. The symbols on his dress there looks eerily like some of the crop circles I've been going over. Here's an ancient monument over there in the Middle East on one of the old buildings. And these little flower shapes you see with the orange centers, They have those all over buildings in the city where I live. Here's just a card. This object has some of the characteristics of a boundary stone. It was set up, however, in honor of a private individual, an official in the Marduk temple, by his son. The figure represents father, son together. Their shaven heads show that they are both priests. About 900 to 800 BC before Christ, from the Marduk temple in Babylon, and of course that would be in Iraq. And after 911, the first place they invaded was Iraq, which apparently had nothing to do with 911. And if you go on the internet and do some research, watch my videos, read some books, you will know that the governments involved also made expeditions and beelines to ancient monument sites and museums and were confiscating all the artifacts. So it just seems to me the people today were looking for something. And they still are. There's all kinds of press releases even in Jerusalem of new findings. Somebody's trying to convince us of something and get the evidence. And the writing on the caves there, the Sanskrit writing, which is also on the stone tablets that Zachariah Stitchins interpreted, telling us that planet X had come through our solar system, and the people of Nibiru needed to mine for gold and supposedly created mankind. What's the truth? Another rendering of an ancient version of King Solomon's temple, which apparently they want to build today. And if you go look up King Solomon's temple and Freemasons, you'll see plenty of pictures of many of the Freemasonic lodges building models of King Solomon temple. So apparently the new country of Israel today, controlling the banking system, the Illuminati, and much of our world with these secret societies are connected with the Zionist Jewish elite, not all Jewish people, and these Illuminati secret society people into the Kabbalah, also called sorcery and witchcraft, ancient Egyptian mystery school. I've been watching some William Cooper videos again. And again, it circles around the same conversation. So without a doubt, they're connected. Even the crop circles I showed recently, that's a crop circle, is the globe with the wings. So for a long while there, I was trying to figure out, like, what's with the crop circles? What are they trying to tell us? And I can tell you now, it seems it's part of the mystery religion and connected to these beings which appear to be interdimensional. And people have photographed and witnessed and described and videoed glowing orbs or craft flying over the crop circles, the orbs flying over the crop circles as they were being made. So again, the restoration of the city of Babylon in the age of Nebuchadnezzar, whatever his name is. According to the Dagon, a race of half fish and half human beings descended from the sky on West Africa and taught the Dagons many things, including sharing information of their home world. So you go look up Dagons on Yahoo image site, and you'll find this picture, likely, and it'll take you to a link to another website. Alright. Let's get off into some other weird pictures. Alien gray aliens. Little alien photo research live streaming event today. If you were curious, if you didn't know already, I do have pictures of me. I'll have to dig them up. In Roswell, New Mexico, standing next to a couple of these life-size figurines. I went to the Alien Museum in Roswell, Mexico. So are these the beings that are abducting human men and women and creating hybrid creatures? So maybe they can look more like us, so we can all get along. We can get along with him. What do you think? Looks like big bug eyes to me. Not trying to be discriminating against bug eyes. Not much of a nose on this guy. Here's a picture somebody took apparently in some cave. Are there beings underground? Sometimes you don't have to say anything. Just show the picture, Rick. Alright, who's next? Looks like we got the Palladians next. Told you I have a stack here. This is what I haven't looked at yet. I was thinking about what to talk about today. It's Saturday. I've had several topics on the UFO alien thing. But then I thought about my pictures and I said, well, that'll be a relaxed way to have a show. And Rogue is in the comment section, and Dave, welcome. So the Palladians, who Barbara Marciniak talks about, that I've talked about, and made videos on her books, Bringers of the Dawn, Teaching from the Palladians. Series number 60 in my series. I got another book here I made videos on. Everything is backwards. When I hold the book to the right, it goes to the left on the screen, so pardon me. I'm getting used to the software. The Palladian Keys to the Living Library. So apparently if you read these books or go watch my videos, the Palladians say that they were here on Earth thousands of years ago, and that they interfered with the evolution of humans. And they messed up and caused some problems. And they have returned, according to Barbara Marciniak, to amend and fix the problems, make amends for what they did, for their own spiritual growth as well as ours. And they advocate having sex as a good source of reaching higher consciousness. Isn't that cool? And she talks a lot about something called a Merkaba, two pyramids into each other, a hexagon, or however you call it. A stone that's got many points on it. A Merkaba, or a hexagonal, two pyramids embedded with each other with all the points. But apparently you take one of those Merkabas, and she shows them on her lectures, on her videos you can watch on YouTube. You can bring forward these beings, and that's in the material of the Kabbalah and Helena Blavatsky's material. I've been finding it everywhere, alchemy. So there's a lot of connecting the dots here. But anyways, the Palladians, have come back to make amends for the mistakes they made interfering with mankind's evolution, apparently look like this. These are pictures that are on the Palladian website. In the Palladian star system, I showed you the pattern. So apparently this is supposed to represent the star system with some kind of angelic beings. I guess they like to be beautiful people, don't they? This was on the Palladian search when you go to a Palladian Yahoo image site. So is she supposed to be a Palladian? And there's links on the Yahoo image site. And there's other websites that have photos of different topics. But the Yahoo image one works for me whenever I'm looking up some things. Sometimes, pictures speak 1,000 words. There's the star system we're talking about. And apparently their home planet with their craft. And apparently the pineal gland communicating with the beings above. And a lot of the channeled materials, even Nancy with Zeta Talk, she's communicating with these Zetas. Nancy Leader. Kind of looks like some people I know. And they talk about the star seed. Again, some representation of the Palladian star system in the sky with these angelic beings. And all kinds of descriptions of motherships and smaller ships coming out of them in the many UFO books I have. And the MUFON reports you can go look up. You will see descriptions of both these types of craft on the MUFON reports if you read enough of them. Is it the Galactic Federation or the Galactic Confederation? Apparently there's a cosmic battle going on. The Palladian Tantric Workbook. Would that be like a mantra? Evocation? Abracadabra? Hocus pocus? I say those words just to give you a clear example of what I'm talking about. A Tantric Workbook. So you can do these mantras or these sayings to communicate with these beings. Awaken your divine body. The Palladian starseed. Palladian's family of light. So far we've talked about Anunnaki, Marduk, Egyptian characters. gray aliens and the Palladians, and we have more to go. 1 hour of your education and my education on some of these UFO entities. What are they? Who are they? What do they look like? Where are they from? What's it all about? Awaken your divine Ka. They're coming back from the star system. The Guardians returning, the creators or the people who interfered with the human evolution. Are they back? I guess this book is by William Goolery, PhD. Alright, what's next? Just pictures I've collected over the years during my research. Rogue says abracadabra is Hebrew for I speak and I create. Well, I guess I was correct. More to it than I thought. Anyways, apparently the creator of Star Trek, Gene Roddenberry, and I've gone over this material before. I mentioned it yesterday, but I have many books on this kind of thing. Sweet Spirits, Kenny Kingston, Psychic to the Stars. Anyways, apparently in Hollywood, a lot of the famous people, producers, stars, are into meditation and have personal psychics and get into this Kabbalistic mystery religion to meditate and possibly be possessed by some beings or communication. And according to these books, and I've got plenty of them, and I need to make videos on them eventually. I've got so many other books. But when they get possessed, they can get this otherly world information. But anyways, in Gene Roddenberry's case with Star Trek, you notice a lot of the storylines involve reptilian entities. And you've heard about shape-shifting. If you haven't, go look into it. But apparently a lot of people say that a lot of people we all know and a lot of people love have been identified with reptilian beings. David Icke there. So without a doubt, throughout history, there are reptilian monuments all over the world. China, for example, the Great Red Dragon. India, the Mayans, all those reptilians. Taking ayahuasca. In Peru. And one artist paints pictures or what he sees on this other world. And there's just a plethora of reptilian beings. So what are we supposed to think about this invisible reality? You can go online. I picked this book up for a couple bucks. The pictures in it alone, you could cut them out and frame them. I mean, it's just unbelievable. Beautiful artwork. When you take the ayahuasca drug, apparently you can see this other world. So another picture of reptilian beings. And you can go on Yahoo image site or the internet, and if you want to learn some more or go watch my videos, I'll be talking about this. I have books on these topics. And on the Yahoo image site, that's what this picture is of. Instead of printing out the individual pictures, I just printed out the screen. There's a picture, I guess, with Jesus with a baby reptilian in his arm. What's that all about? And apparently one of the... when some people are possessed by reptilians, it's maybe reptilian if you can see the psychic world, but to you and me, if this guy was walking down the street and he was possessed, apparently you can't see the reptilian being engulfing him, possessing him, controlling him. But some people are able to see this, and when they walk down a city street, they look around, they get a little horrified because they see numerous people possessed by these reptilian entities. So consider it as a more of a spiritual being. And again, there's reptilian symbolism all over the world, from the Mayans, China, India, all over the Egyptian hieroglyphics. No shortage. American Indians. Monuments everywhere. So are people making these statues out of stone? Here's one of these reptilians holding a baby. Something they saw in the invisible reality in a trance meditation. Or maybe they just weren't being fed fluoride and they could see these things naturally. Just a little contemplating, thinking, using my God-given brain. Are they creating some kind of hybrid? Human, reptilian, gray alien humans? Do they exist? Some people claim, David Icke and many others, that the royal family and many of the elite are reptilians, maybe possessed, and apparently when they have sacrifices, consume the flesh and blood of their victims, they actually change physical shape and reveal themselves, and many whistleblowers, insiders, have said it was a horrible experience. What's the truth? Just pictures I've collected over the years. Alright, the next one is aliens, tall whites. I don't know what this is going to show me. But apparently there's plenty of information about some tall whites. Charles Hall. Here's a video you can go look up and watch. Charles J. Hall and the Tall Whites, 2001-2014. Here's the Sirius star you can see in the sky. And then the one you can't see, Sirius B, apparently part of that star system where these beings are supposedly coming from. The Syrian experiments. A report by Abram 2 of the 5. Here's a rendering somebody drew. So they have a tarot card with a Syrian starseed. A lot about the Syrians has been detailed in a book called The Cosmic Trigger by Robert Anton Wilson. I'll have to try to find that book. There are also other sources of data. The picture below is essentially correct, including the eyes and the symbol, but the face needs to be depicted as being a little wider. The symbol is essentially right. Underneath the bodysuit, you will find the short blondish hair. And there's the symbol right there. Reptilian being. Reptilian eyes. So apparently, another part of this philosophy or theory is that beings that are from Syrian souls, they can be reincarnated on Earth as a human being, but spiritually wise, their soul is from Syria, as well as other beings, according to some of the research I've done, from Orion and other planetary star systems. Not that I am promoting this as the truth. I'm saying this is what is being fed to the public. A lot of people are consuming it and believing it. Sirius and Ascension. So you got a lot of material out there about Ascension these days, which they're tying together with the so-called discoveries in Antarctica. So what is ascending? It's being dead in your physical body and your spirit going somewhere, ascending. So when you do die naturally, your spirit ascends. I guess if you're a really bad person, it descends. Just saying, so when they talk about planet-wide ascension, are they talking about killing all the people on the planet and having them happy they're going to be killed and ascend? Just something I think about, and I was listening to Max Egan the other day, and he was making a joke about it. Do people realize what ascension means? It means they're going to be an ascended being, a spiritual being. Well, they were a spiritual being, if they believe in reincarnation, prior to getting in these biological human bodies. Why would they want to leave this planet early? What's going on? A loving friendship of heavenly angels from the Galactic Confederation of Planets with Earthmen in a spacesuit. Are you believing this? Aren't they cute? Just saying. As Harry Hubbard says in his videos a lot, just saying, just saying. ET First Contact Radio. Just some of the pictures I've collected over the years. So there's a being from Sirius star system. I guess the description of these characters varies. Some of them have beautiful long hair. And these symbols, there's a six-pointed star on his outfit. And a 8-star symbol on his hand. A medallion on his neck. The Starseed Awakening. We come to see your leader. All right, that's that batch of pictures. What's next in my pile? I'm not quite sure what this picture means, but it certainly looks like a comet or something flying through the sky. They do try to make these creatures look kind of attractive with the large upper torso. Rogue says Max Egan is a spiritual communist. The name of his channel is Crowhouse777. Yes, I'm aware. It's named after Ella Crowley's book 777. Here's a picture with the UFO aliens of a crop circle. Thank you, Rogue. It's interesting to know. Apparently, one of the god characters in the Hindu religion. Notice some of the similarities, the color of the skin. Again, just some of the symbols that are on the UFO alien sites I researched. Guess it takes a little bit of time to figure out what they mean. A lot of common symbols here. The tree of life, the Sephiroth on the stomach of this person, the triangle around the neck, the sun and the moon, and the sun's rays on the head. A lot of New Age symbolism there. Remember the movie Avatar? You think that movie was just a coincidence, or are they telling you something? It was a beautiful movie. Atlantis Rising. Like I said, there are links on the Yahoo image site, whether you're looking up Atlantis or reptilians or Palladians or Syrians or gray aliens. The struggle of darkness and light. Atlantis Rising. There's a sentence for you. The struggle of darkness and light. Would that be Jesus and Satan, God, fallen angels? Who are they? Another seemingly Hindu Indian character. Some symbols. Tells you what they mean. Flow, unlock, transform, connect, prepare. I have to take these against some of the crop circles. Look at the crown on his head. The triangle with the circle around it. This is Kabbalistic, without a doubt. There's the Knights of Malta symbol around his neck. Another one of those mystery religions. Here's some beings with elongated skulls. Remember this? They said that this Anunnaki guy, Anunnakin, however you say his name, looks like Obama. And they have the elongated skulls, even the children, the sun's rays. Like let's say, you see some of the common denominators. The serpent in the on top of his head. Draco, Sirius, and the Atlans. Here's 3 different types of beings. The Draco being, the Sirius being, and the Atlans, the Lyrians. So what do you think? There's these planets out there with all these beings, and they're visiting Earth. Are they back? Is that a ship in the background? More aliens talking to dolphins? Here's an ancient picture monument. The being with the serpent wrapped around him looks like he's got a square in his hand like the Freemasons. The caduceus by his foot. The Orion Gray and the Orion Group Tall Blonde. That's the tall blonde alien. These humanoids are about 6 feet tall, typically with long blonde hair. Their eyes are typically blue with large oval pupils. They, with the others, participate in activities at underground facilities. The Orion Greys are between 6 and 7 feet tall and have external genitalia. Ooh, I wouldn't want to see this guy with some genitalia. Not that I want to see anybody. Onus, Raymondani, Hominaya. I guess the names of some of these people have been dealing with, these reptilian entities. And these are their names. And this guy, I guess, was an okay artist. He drew what he thought they looked like. And he drew a picture here. Like I said, you go up and look these things up on Yahoo image site. You'll find these photos and the links they go to. I guess the artist's depiction of some of their ships. And here we have the Sirius cycle, the great year of the blazing binary sun. So they say that Earth has a binary sun. All kinds of information out there. And the best you can do is just take your time and look at the pictures, look at the links, and try to absorb it. It's not one of those things you figure out right away. 6-pointed star, the precession of the equinox, tied in with the monuments in Egypt. Well, a lot of people know that. And apparently with the pyramids in Egypt, they aim at some of these stars. Draco over here, Orion over here, Sirius over here. Rogue talks about Daddy Bush talking about 1,000 points of light. And President Donald Trump was mentioning it. What do you think they're talking about? Apparently they found these elongated skulls, South America, maybe over in Egypt. What are we to believe? Pyramid. Abundance. A lot of the channeled material tells you to think positive, think that you have lots of abundance, and you will. Yeah, I watch movies, Dave. I'll look that one up. You can look in the comments section and see what he's talking about. So different points in history are different places of Earth in the precession of the equinox. It's telling us something on that video. Here's some writing on a picture I have here. Area 51, Groom Lake, Nevada. The mag level tubes travel to Mach 2.7. So apparently there are tunnel systems out west from Los Alamos, as this picture says on the Yahoo alien site. And DUMBs would be underground cities. Nordic aliens. Just this writing on this picture. If you want to try to read it, pause the computer. Billy Myers over there in Europe has many videos about him, and I think books and pictures where these aliens were visiting him. There's his Jeep. And there's the craft. Just some random pictures here. Apparently these alien craft can beam people up in the beam. Here's another picture of a girl when you look up Palladians. What do you think? Just the girl next door? Or a starseed? And Billy Myers. And the visiting alien. A lot of material on the internet about him and his story. Here's a picture of Billy when he's older. Apparently these aliens were visiting him for a long time. Beings with wings. Don't the fallen angels have wings? Aren't they depicted with wings? So what do you think? What's the common denominator here? Looks like a halo around this lady. Spiritual entities. Jesus-looking characters. Masters like in Helena Blavatsky's books. Ascension, spiritual beings. Billy Meyer picture again. Palladian picture again. Palladian picture again, I think. Fallen angel. The Palladian star system. The Orion star system. Draco. You can look all these up. Mentioned in Morals and Dogma, the Bible for the Freemasons, and many other books. So you can see why people would fall in love with this and think that this is the world they want to ascend to. It's so beautiful. You really think? A huge deception. You know what Project Bluebeam is? And the new Pope? He made a video to all the religious leaders of the world. You can go find the video likely. And he said, it's time for all the churches of the world to unite. There's no reason to be separate any longer. What do you suppose he was talking about? This was in my alien pictures. Then you got the late Jim Mars here talking about these issues on my pictures. And you got crop circles related to these issues. If you notice some of the pictures and some of the symbols. Takes a little time and patience, but you can connect the dots. Billy Myers and his visitor. Billy Myers. It's just some of my pictures. I'm going in order as they are in the stack. Almost done with this video. So they want people to believe this stuff. Meanwhile, greater Israel is growing. The Syrians in Syria are being attacked. They're making threats against Iran and trying to create a situation with America and Russia and America and China and so much more. To me, it's a big, huge deception. The people are being played for fools. They're setting us up for another huge event. Star Trek, they wear these emblems on their shirts. Seems familiar. I think this is a Battlestar Galactica symbol. I guess a six-pointed star in some of these star systems where they're located. Like I said, I just picked up the pictures. I haven't looked at them recently. Kind of guessing what I'm talking about here on some of them. What kind of an educated guess? I mean, I did research all of these over the years. The Mormon Church. What's all this have to do with Israel today? With the symbolism to the star charts, according to this picture. Jerusalem, Perseus, Andromeda. What does all that mean? That's another... The Holy Land, our planisphere of the heavens, 3000 BC. So I guess all this stuff does have something to do with today's reality. President Donald Trump announcing that Jerusalem is the capital of Israel. I wonder what gave him the authority to say that for the rest of us. Or do the rest of us have any say in any of this? Deciphering of the Croswell Craigs. So there's all kinds of symbols on stone and petrified wood all over the planet. Trying to decipher what some of this stuff means. Star systems. Well, I hope you enjoyed this Saturday noontime edition of my live streaming event. Sticking with the theme UFO and aliens. Just trying to further educate myself and see if I can gain a little insight into what all this means. Have a great day. Rick Miracle reporting.